And you're welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Today is the 27th of May, and of course, on this day every year, it is set aside to celebrate the Nigerian child. The event serves to raise awareness on issues that affect the child and enables the society to appreciate the often forgotten realities that children are indeed the future. As the nation marks the event, it is important to call to mind the plight of Nigerian children, the challenges they face, and how helpless the society has become in response to this, and their seeming inability to create the right environment needed to be the children they truly are. This year's theme is investing in our future, means investing in our children. And to have this conversation with us this morning is Chizoba Akunne. She is the Executive Director, Center for Individual and Child Development. Good morning, Zoba. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Uche. It's nice being here again.
It's nice to see you again.
Yeah.
And of course, today you are in your prime space because we're going to be talking about children and the rights of children. Please, for the sake of this conversation, I'm also a child.
Okay, we are all children.
We are all children.
We're all children.
I don't know.
Blessed is a child too.
I almost took the day off, but unfortunately my producer would not grant me the day
Why
off.
would you take the day
I
off?
really needed to celebrate myself. Yesterday I spoke with my mom and she was still calling me a baby.
Oh.
So I'm still a baby. So I think I should be celebrated. So happy Children's Day to me.
Right now we're all speechless.
But let's take it to the reason that we're here today. Children's Day. Children in Nigeria over the years have faced a lot of challenges. I was watching a video yesterday on social media. Of course, people are all over the world, all over the country, already celebrating, and a lot of events happened yesterday in. While waiting for today to finally happen. And one of the speakers was saying that an average child in Nigeria is neglected. I mean, even the ones you think have all it takes to not be neglected. They have parents who have the wherewithal to send them to good schools, take care of them, provide a very enabling environment for them. But to an extent, one way or another, they are neglected. And, it raised a lot of questions in the comments section. I want us to start from that place. Do you agree with that school of thought?
Yes, I'll say a lot of children are neglected. Yes, the Child Rights Act covers, certain parameters which we tick to say, okay, we've done this, we've done that, we've done this, we've done that. But the truth of the matter is that when it comes to wounds, when it comes to trauma, a lot of children go through trauma and they have childhood wounds. So, like, a parent could have everything, they could have the wherewithal, but if they are not available, right, to take care of the child, then you find out that that child suffers abandonment wound, which, if not treated, would lead to trauma. And then there's also neglect wound. So the parents could be available but not present, right? And that's taking it down to that conversation that you said you read yesterday, right? So it's not just about providing. It's not just about putting a roof over a child's head and giving them the basic food, sending them to a good school and all, but it's the present. You're being present. I always say that children do not remember the amount of can you remember any of your school fees, how much it was? I'm sure it's only maybe university school fees that you can remember. So children don't remember how much the school fees cost. They don't remember a lot of things, even though I know that yes, right now we have children that are pressured about going for summer because of their environment, right? But basically, a child remembers how you made them feel.
Yeah.
They remembered what you did with them.
How you said
They
to them.
remembered what you said to them. So those things are very important. And these are the investments that are not monetary. Because I always say that you see families that are below the poverty line and you see them having this connection, and you see some of them not having the connection, and you see that even in families that are living above the poverty line, right? So it's your being present in a child's life. It's your being there, listen to them. Don't shut them down when they're speaking. Hear them out. Yesterday was amazing because there were some topics that were in my mind and I just wanted to know what children feel about it. And you would be amazed In fact, I was amazed at some of the responses I was getting, and I was, I just started laughing, and I was like, "Are you guys serious? Like, all of you sitting here, this is really what has been going through your mind?" And someone else who I was with said, "You really have time." And I thought about it. It's not that I have time. It's just that I asked myself, okay, how many minutes, how many hours do I have to spend with these children? So let me make it count.
That's what that matters.
Let me make it count.
All right, let's talk about poverty and the role it plays. You know, you took the word off of my mind when you mentioned families who live below the poverty line, families who live above the poverty line, but you see some similarities when it comes to family dynamics with these persons. And you know, in my earlier submission, I mentioned how that even children who seem to have all it takes to thrive also go through these issues, and you find out that poverty plays a lot of role in how society generally affects an average individual. Let's talk about these helpless young ones who depend on guardians, parents, older siblings to cater to them, take care of them, or take care of some things. Now, data says that 70% of the Nigerian population are actually living in poverty. So you see that there's a lot of disparity. The gap is too much. And then a good percentage of the Nigerian population comprised of young persons and children, the youth and children. With that in mind, that means we have a lot of children in our hands. You don't want to start talking about out-of-school children, children who go through abuse, several levels and types of abuse. And all these are under the umbrella of poverty, because then people are not able to handle stuff, take care of stuff, or speak up about stuff. How do we begin to solve these issues, especially as it regards children?
Okay, so when you talk about poverty, the first thing I have noticed, and when you talk about the population boom as it relates to the youth and the children, is that we have more youths, more teenagers becoming parents, right? And it usually happens around families that are living below the poverty line. And it's a lot of factors. Sometimes they can go to school, right? And because they can't go to school, they resort to becoming maybe touts, street urchins, so they have to do that to fend for themselves. And then also, don't forget that the parents, since they were both teenage parents, right, they are both not married, so maybe they are both living with their parents. And so you have situations whereby a child can have 4 siblings and 4 different fathers with the same mother. So there's some things we cannot control, but what we can do is that, number one, create safe spaces in schools. And that is one of the things that we've been able to do in Center for Individual and Child Development, and that's what we're currently doing in Education District 2, where we're raising zero violence ambassadors, trying to create safe spaces in school where they could come, share and speak with us. Now, I would not say that I'm not aware that they are going through violent situations. I'm not aware that they are financially abused, they are physically abused, they are, in fact, when you talk about all levels of abuse, verbal abuse, they all face it. But what we can do in our own little corners, because we can't leave everything for the government, is that, number one, step in, mentor a child, go into communities, just sit with them, talk with them, have a girls and mentor program. There's so many things you could do, right? And then minus that, you could also have programs for the parents in the communities, go through the traditional leaders, sit with them, try to talk with them, do parenting, like parenting classes that I know that, yes, some parents who are above the poverty line, they go for parenting classes. And this is something that we should take into the communities. Now, don't go there to judge the parents, because the truth is you do not know their story. And their story is valid to them because they are seeing through the lens of that story, right? So create better parents, invest in the parents, have parenting classes, make them understand that, see, this is the repercussions, because when they are doing some things at times they don't understand the full repercussions of what they're doing. And then make them understand that it doesn't matter where you're starting from, what matters is where you're going to. where do you see yourself later? This thing, you can be comfortable. We're not talking about being extremely rich, right? And then show love and care. One thing I found out is this: when you go to people, when you go to children, you go to parents in the community, you do not judge them, because they are reading your body language.
Yeah,
they are reading your words. You do not judge them. You're telling them, I understand that I may not have gone through your situation, but I understand that it's not easy for you. Be empathetic towards them, and then begin to one-on-one effect those changes. You'll find out that you have a multiplier effect. Because if not, we'll just keep talking about, okay, the Child Rights Act, it has been domiciled in some states. Okay, what about the other states that are not being that is not domiciled in? But what about those states that it's already domiciled in? What about our own community? What are we doing to ensure that these children are shielded from abuse? And so it's a one-on-one thing. It's us stepping in, going to the parents, talking with them. Yes, sometimes you may have to provide financial support. You may have to say, okay, I will put your children through school. I would provide this, right? And then I would have to come and check up. See, I think when our parents were growing up, our grandparents were growing up, maybe not our parents, maybe our grandparents, our great-grandparents, I think what helped them that abuse was minimal, even though it was in existence, was the fact that it was a communal thing. So everybody was interested in everybody's business. And so another thing we have to do is break down boundaries, all these invisible boundaries that we are putting. We are Africans. We are not...
We're communal people.
Yes, we're Africans. That's who we are. And really, going back to our communal living, it's the only way that I think we can tackle this effectively, because this is an advantage we have. And if we do not step in now to begin to say, okay, how do we effect this change? What are we doing? How can I, give my own little help in this particular community? You find out that little by little, we are solving this issue one child at a time. And then this circle of violence, we are chipping at it until it gets broken. And then we have a leeway into helping more children and stopping this thing finally.
All right then. So I want to take you up on two questions specifically now. First off, I want to go back to what you made mention earlier when you were responding to, which is first question. So something struck me, and I was asking myself this question. I also needed to buttress on that. In a situation whereby you did make mention of the fact that some parents are actually available, but they are not giving their children the necessary and the needed attention that they need. But in a situation whereby everybody's trying to, going by the current economic situation now, every parent is trying their best to see how they can fend for their family, give their children the best that they think their children deserve. How do we create, because I learned there's no longer the work-life balance anymore, so it's now so how do parents integrate that work-life balance in a way by they put their children as a priority, and then at the same time they don't lose focus or get distracted from fending for the home? That's one. And then the second question I want to ask you is, talking about the Nigerian child's law, is it necessary for every child to know about the Nigerian child law? And if yes, at what age and at what point should we start educating the children? And how do we also start educating parents about the Nigerian child law?
All right, thank you so much, Blessed, for your two questions. All right, so first of all, I want to say that to your first question, I know that yes, there is no more work-life balance, right? But you could create time. So let me give you some little tips. For example, you come back from work. When you come back from work, and I do this deliberately, stay outside and try to get your head into, I am not in the office space anymore. I'm not in the traffic space anymore. I am home. By the time you decompress, you step in. Maybe one or two of your children would have been awake, waiting for you to come back. And then you just come back to say, oh, I missed you today. How was your day? And children are always empathetic. They'll always ask you, how was your day? What happened today? Now, you may not be able to talk so much, but you can tell them that I'm tired right now. I had a long day. I really want to have a conversation with you, but can we have this conversation maybe on Saturday? Or is there any pressing thing that you want to talk with me about? Now, when a child, see, when you explain to a child, and the issue is that we don't talk to children, we talk over them. That's the issue. When you explain to a child and the child understands that, oh, you're really tired and oh, what the child will do is, okay, so if there's a pressing issue, the child talks to you about it and then you answer. Then when you notice that there is, because your children would always be different, there would always be one child that, the way I describe the child is, you know those very deep wells. Very deep wells. You take a fetcher, you throw it into the well,
and it keeps
and
going
then you keep
down and
throwing
down
it down into the well.
Yeah.
And then by the time you're pulling it out, you're only coming out with a little bucket of water. You have to throw it back. So some children are like that. When you have that kind of child, what you do is you create space to sit down and talk with your child. Give your child days that, I know that parents will say it's not possible, but I want to tell you that it is possible. This is an investment that you would reap and keep reaping and keep reaping till the day you die. Like, it's a serious investment. So sit down, have days for your children. Have a day for this person. You don't have to spend so much money. See, you can just Netflix on your phone or download, just go to YouTube, stream a cartoon or a movie
and watch it together.
Buy popcorn or pop it in the house or get biscuits. The biscuit you eat that day is not what's going to add to your cholesterol level or whatever. And drink. Just today is your day. Two of us, we sit and we watch a movie and then we gist. 2 hours. That child will, even if it's one time you did it, do you know that child will always be talking about it? My dad, we have movie dates. You don't be wondering that which one is the movie date. Have days for your children. Mannequins that those days when they have figurines that you used to decorate your house. Your children are not figurines to put on the shelf to decorate your house. So when people come and they say what's going on. Okay.
Quickly, because of time, let's get to Child Rights Act.
Now the Child Rights Act also. From the time a child can walk, unconsciously, we have already started telling them about the Child Rights Act.
Okay.
Songs that will teach them about preserving their body. That's protecting them against sexual harassment, exploitation, and all. So yes, we've started doing that, but there are more that we need to do. We need to go further from that to begin to explain to them that these are your rights. This is your right. And then also, we need to go into communities. We need to have forums for parents where we teach them that this is the right of the child. Now, the reason why a lot of people who want to go into it is that by the time you start, you find out that even the parents were abused. And at that moment, you find out that they begin to even have traumatic inclinations. So how then do you manage the parents? So it's a vicious cycle. So that's why it's important that you say, okay, we want to start talking to the parents about it. These are our backup plans. These are our support groups. These are our safe spaces, our walk-in spaces where parents who they just suddenly realize that they've been abused and they want to break out of it, they can go here and talk to people, right? And so when you put all these things in place, these are really investments that we can do, and they translate even to our economy. It translates beyond what we are saying. It's the little things really that matter.
Okay, Children's Day celebrations, the days marked to celebrate children, especially Nigerians living in Nigeria, is usually very emotional for me personally, because to a great extent I've worked with children, and believe me, the stories are not nice. You understand? So I feel like 27 May every year is actually not enough to deal with the issues as it pertains to children. But I mean, we keep doing the much that we can. So this is the point where I say thank you so much, Isabel, for coming on the show. hopefully before the year runs out.
We'll have
we'll
a
get
special.
more more opportunity, more specials. I choose to call it in the plural because, like I said, it's never enough time. We need to keep hammering on these issues because at the end of the day, you have no idea how much it affects the entire nation. Just like you said, runs down to the economy, to the society general, and all that and all that. Once again, thank you so much, Zoba.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate your time.
You
It is still iBrand Daybreak Children's Day special, 27th May. I am somebody's child, so wish me a happy Children's Day. When we return, it will be time to go to the town square for social media buzz. Stay with us.